I'm so grateful to God for the Gospel of John. I think it's beautiful. And one thing that, if you look at the Carson article from 81, he expresses hesitancy with using the term literary device, right? The idea of a literary device is like, well, he's going to use irony, or, it's things that good writing uses to engage the reader and to maybe trick the reader. Oh, is this guy real? The whole book, you're thinking that this guy is the good guy, and then you find out that he was behind it all, right? So there's ways that writers in the craft of telling a story do this sort of thing.
Right.
And Carson wants, because the Gospel of John is part of Scripture, he doesn't want to lessen it by using literary critical terminology, because he says they're insufficient to describe. But on the other hand, God created language. He gave humans language, and there is a language art that's being used here.
Right. And
Yeshua uses the art of language even in back to the destroy this temple. Yeshua knew that they had an option to think, well, what are they going to do when they heard him say the word temple? Were they going to think of his body, or were they going to think of the physical building? Did they see themselves as temples, their bodies as temples? So he knew that that there was more than one way to read his words. Same thing with when he used anothen with Nicodemus and these other instances. So I don't think it's a lessening to say that there's an art of language being used. Yeshua himself used parables.
Right.
Parables are the parable form is a parallelism. It's poetry. It's wisdom, all packed into a real nutritious vitamin, a nugget, right? And so there is a skill of, and the end of Kohelet talks about, the shepherd who collects sayings and formulates these hidot, these riddles, for the purpose of capturing wisdom. But it takes, there's sayings we know of Yeshua that take a long time to chew on and reflect on, and they're easily memorable, like you strain a gnat and you swallow a camel, right? Something like that, where you have the imagery, you have the cartoon imagery, but you have a profound theological punch to say, look, in your play of ultra stringent halakhic lifestyle, you're actually bringing in this huge unclean thing that you're blind to, right? And so anyway, I just want to kind of push back a little bit on his article, saying I don't want to use literary device. I'm like, I can understand where he's coming from, but on the other hand, if we see language as a gift of God, words are what separate us as humans by God's design from the animal kingdom. That deliberate use of language is in the Torah, it's in the prophets, it's in the Psalms, the Proverbs, and in the Gospels and in the epistles. That we can be okay using those terms, even though we will also use it of like Moby Dick or Tom Sawyer or whatever world literature that's also out there. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that.
Don't miss any clips from Messiah Matters by clicking the subscribe button. Also, give this video a thumbs up and share it so other people can see it too.